This is going to be a tough one to review. On the record, the documentary about Russell Simmons and what he did to a group of, I think it was like 4 or 5 young women. Look here, y'all. This is an HBO Max documentary. The same HBO that put out Leaving Neverland. So I'm trying to tread really lightly because it's hard for me to review something like this just because I'm a man, as you probably noticed. And this is about what happened to these young women as far as violating them, taking something from them that they did not give to them, okay? I would never discredit any woman. I would have tried to discredit any woman that said that something happened to them, but people do tell tales sometimes. And I don't want to say that these women are lying. I don't want to say that. But as I'm watching this documentary, there's just things that did not make sense. Not so much that didn't make sense, but they just didn't line up. I'm like, yeah, they didn't. Some of it didn't make sense. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Some shit did not add up. It just didn't make sense. And I'm thinking to myself, is this the same documentary that Oprah took a name off of? Because remember, Oprah was real vocal about putting out this Russell Simmons documentary so these women's voices can be heard. And then she backs out of it because even she said there were too many inconsistencies in the stories. But HBO said, forget that. We're going to put it out anyway. We tried to defame Michael Jackson. Now we're going to defame the great Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons, y'all, is a fucking icon in the black culture. Just culture, period, okay? He took hip-hop and put it into the mainstream. Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, LL Cool J. Russell Simmons, me and Russell Simmons go back to Crush Groove, all right? So since I was a 5-year-old kid, I've known about this man. If it wasn't for Russell Simmons, hip-hop would not have become the juggernaut that it became. Russell Simmons changed the game forever. Not only that, he's such an inspirational person. He's motivating. He's got these self-help books out now. You see his Instagram. He's always doing yoga and shit with his fucking hands out like this and hum, yum, 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 yum. You know what I'm saying? He's lost a lot of weight. He's a vegan. He's always smiling. If you look at Russell Simmons now, he wouldn't hurt a fly. So it's very hard to believe a lot of stuff that happened. Now, is there a bias just because it's Russell Simmons? Of course. You don't want to believe this, but at the same time, if you provide some solid proof that it happened, then it happened. Then after that, it's like, all right, well, you listen, I can't fuck with you. All right, I can't. But right now, it's he said, she said. So these women said that he did what he did, and he said that every relation that I had was consensual. I did not take anything from anybody that they did not want to give me. So it was like, who do you believe? And according to some of these stories, okay, I'm gonna give you one young lady. Her name was, holy shit, what was her name? I always forget her name. It starts with a D. I want to say Dawn Drew. Okay, her name was Drew. All right. Now, she was an executive at Def Jam. She said that her and Russell had a professional relationship, but then she started noticing he was becoming inappropriate with her, where he would, say certain things or do certain things. Like, for example, he pulled her into a closet and started kissing on her, and she was able to get away. She said that he came into her office and tried to make a pass at her, exposing himself. She got away. All right. So now, fast forward, they're in a situation where it's just them two. He invites her to his residence to listen to a demo. Her excuse is that she's responsible for discovering a lot of talent. She loves demo. Listening to demos is her kryptonite. So she fell for the okie doke. She goes to his house to listen to these demos, knowing what he did to her before. And she goes to his house to listen to these demos. Next thing you know, she said he's standing there naked with just a condom on, and then it happened. I'm thinking to myself, if you knew this man was being inappropriate with you, physically and verbally, why would you put yourself in a position where you're in his residence by yourself? I could see if you went there with a girlfriend or with a cousin or something, you went there dolo. I don't know, y'all. And then there's another young lady who said that, what did she say? What did she say that he did to her? She said that they were at a bar. She said her and Russell were friends, and they were at a bar, and he was drinking, and he was saying some off-the-wall shit, just talking crazy to her, to where she had to say, look, I have a boyfriend, and I'm happy, you know, so this is not cool. Russell said, this is what she says. Russell said, okay, cool. You know, I would never try to listen. What you do with your punani is your business. Unless you want to give it to me, I'm not taking it. This is what she said he told her. So she feels uncomfortable and says, well, I want to go home. He gets a car. He says, well, okay, well, I'll make sure you get home or whatever. Instead of taking her home, they end up at his place. Now, she could have been like, well, look here, this ain't happening, brother. I'm catching a cab. Like, this here's too fucked up for me. She goes to his crib. The excuse is, well, we were friends, so I just needed to crash. But you have a boyfriend at home that you were happy with. Do you see what I mean? It's just some of these stories are like, it's just, I can't really, I don't, you know what I mean? But what this documentary does good is that it makes you have empathy for these young ladies. Like, it packs on, it spreads the drama on super thick. Like, that frosting is super thick on that cake. Here I go with the food metaphors again. The frosting is real thick on this cake, and it's like you have empathy for these young ladies. But if you look past the drama that the filmmakers are trying to do, the stories just don't add up to me. Now, this is from a guy's point of view. So if any women watch the documentary and say, okay, yeah, I would never listen. I'm seeing this from a guy's point of view, okay? I'm not a woman. I don't know what that feels like, all right? But just from my point of view, from what I'm seeing, I'm like, all right, I call someone bullshit on this. And that's not just because it's Russell Simmons. And yeah, because it's Russell Simmons, I don't want it to be true. But I don't believe it. And just like Finding Neverland, I think this is going to be a situation where maybe if some facts come out, HBO is going to pull this doc just like they pulled Leaving Neverland. So HBO, when are y'all going to learn? Don't try to defame my icon unless you know everything. Don't put this documentary out there unless you know everything. All right? With that being said, this documentary is an interesting watch. It's not as graphic as Leaving Neverland, because in that one it goes into real graphic detail about what happened. So in this one it spares you the really explicit details about what happened, but it just says that it did happen. And then by the end you see, you know, the women hanging together. They're having a waiting to exhale moment where they're holding hands, and yes, I understand you, girl, like we have one thing in common, Russell Simmons, and now we're strong. Like they're holding each other's hands. We're strong and we're gonna get through this. I love you because you were my sister. All that there. So by the end, like even I was feeling like, oh, but then I thought, I'm like, wait a minute. Something just doesn't seem right with this, y'all. If you've seen this documentary, let me know what you think. I think something like this shouldn't come out until you have, as they say, all the facts and evidence, man. Because here it is, another important figure in our culture, and he's being taken down. And then the reason of why it took so long, because you have to ask the question, why did this take so long to happen? The reasoning is, from what Drew says, is because at the time he was Russell Simmons. He's like the biggest name in hip hop. Like, he is hip hop. And she didn't want to be the one to take down the most beloved figure in hip hop. And she loves hip hop, and she loves Russell Simmons. And she didn't want that on her shoulders and people hating her and looking at her like, you bitch, like how could you be the one? That's her reasoning at the time. Could be legitimate. I don't know. The thing is, y'all, I don't know. All right, I wasn't there, so I can't say either or. I can't say, you know, Russell is completely innocent. I can't say that he's guilty, because Russell has been known to be a womanizer. If you watch the show, listen to how he talks in that documentary, The Show. Yeah, Russell loves the women. He's quite the womanizer. Could he be a little aggressive, a little really too straightforward? Possibly. A rapist? I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know enough to make that call. Watch this and see for yourselves. I'm curious to know what y'all think, man. Comment, let me know what y'all thought about this documentary. Do you call bullshit? Do you think Russell did do this? We don't need no more of these, all right? Cosby already got taken down. R. Kelly was never, R. Kelly was cool, but yeah, Cosby got taken down. They tried to defame Michael, now Russell Simmons. What's next? They're going to say Prince liked to, sleep with doves? Like, what's next? Come on. Anyways, y'all, that's all I got, man. I'm not even going to give this shit a grade. Just watch it for yourselves, and, let me know what you think about it, y'all. Anyways, if you liked the content, hit that like and subscribe, notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.